So basically, I like to do just what I just did and fool around for a bit and try to figure out what's like, because I'm not going to actually take this whole thing and get it right up to 440A and all that stuff. I could if I had the proper gear and if I had to do it, but I don't have to do it. And actually, I've spent so much time tuning by ear, I just figure I may as well stick with that. Now I've basically figured out, a round, even, rough tuning for the thing. And I'm going to play a few more things here, and then we'll get on to, I'll show you how I tune in fourths and fifths, and how actually, once you really get a good ear, you can tune from just about any two notes of any chord that you can imagine. So we'll talk to you in a bit. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'll just start out by using a proper tuning fork here. This is maybe not the proper one for piano, but I'll hit it on something metal. And you should be able to hear that. I hold it up to my ear, right against my earlobe. And here. Get out your tuning meter now and check what I'm doing. It's about as close as I'm going to get to 440, but you know what? For me and the birds and the squirrels, I think, and the cat, I think we'll be fine. Now, since we are in A, we may as well get all our octaves right. This one's already off. I can tell it's just something too high is going on in there in the. You can hear each one was successively higher than the other. Each one about, a very slight amount higher. But we'll start by trying to get these. I haven't got a mute in there. I'm playing all three. I've made that sound clearer already. But now that I've done that, I'm going to take the mute and mute the side I just did. Like I just did the center string, and the outside string was the one I tuned down slightly to match the center. Now I'm going to go back to the very left string here, and I know it's flat. It's flat by like 3 cents. Actually, it was sharp by 1 or 2 cents. See, we're not getting on here and turning these pins per se. You do that when you're stringing a piano, but after that, all of these movements while you're tuning by ear or professionally are usually very, very slight movements of the pin. If you have to do more than that, then your pin is probably slipping. That's slightly sharp, so one of these notes is off. I know which one it is. that one is slightly high, the second one I hit. So I'll just very gently rock it one way, pull it back. We know it's gonna turn to the left, but you won't see how much it's turning. However, we don't want to turn it to the left. We want it to let itself go back to the left. I think of it more. Now I'm playing a fifth with the A, and now it's a fourth with the A. Like, to me, I can just tell by ear, right? If the fifth is right, and if the fourth is right. Here's my next problem right here. Because I'm going up in successive stages here, interlocking all of my little pieces together to make the big chords that would be played if you had like 50 fingers. So I can tell you right now, that's the sharp one, and I don't mind just going right up to that and settling that one back in. See, we've got a few tonal indifferences going on, I call them, and a professional, know would say, well, they're just out of tune technically. And for me, I'm just saying, sometimes it's nice to have that little ring of. So back to the fourths and fifths. So we were on A, right? A, a fourth to that, and a fifth to that. This A, this is the fourth to that, and that is the fifth to that. Or I'm wrong, one or the other. Now, when I'm tuning, I'm holding down, say, two notes that are sounding great together, and now I'm going to throw a third in and see what happens, right? Because you see, they sound pretty good. But what if I throw the octave in and just see what goes on in between these two octaves, at any rate, right? Okay, to start with, right now, here's my next little project. Straightening this one out. We'll just gotta mute this and hear what the middle one's doing, really. It's sharp. Here's our next one. Come back to this A sharp here in a minute. And of course that's the A. Okay, so letting the damper pedal off, or pushing it down so that all the strings ring. And try to get six octaves going here, all ringing, sounding fairly nice. See, now when everything's ringing, you can go inside and find chords to see if they're going on sounding right with that. And sometimes, you know, I find little tricks like that, you know, if you play them enough times, you kind of they kind of become incorporated into your style. And, you know, that wasn't perfect, but I get ideas like that too sometimes when I'm tuning.